Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Ardan Abimanyu, and in this video I will discuss a book titled Rewriting Islam, Decolonialism, Justice and Contemporary Muslimah Literature, written by Miss Hasnul Insani Johar. So this is the book I will discuss today. Briefly, this book explores work by Muslim women authors, most of which focus on themes of resistance against Orientalist and patriarchal views. Among the literary works discussed in these books are Hope and Other Dangerous Pursuits by Laila Lalami, A Map of Home by Randa Jarar, Hagar Poems by Moja Kaf, and many others. In this book, Ms. Johar offers her opinions on how these works represent Muslim women fighting against injustice, particularly challenging Orientalist perspectives and altering the stigma that Arab women are weak, oppressed, and backward as white people have often perceived them. So the first point I found interesting is in chapter 3, which discusses Hagar Poems by Moja Kaf. So Mrs. Johar states, by depicting her female speakers as brave, bright, and pious leaders, Kaf illuminates their perseverance and determination on preserving their beliefs and confronting the tyranny of men and the supremacy of Orientalist thinking. So in this statement, Mrs. Johar discusses how Moja Kaf portrays female character as brave, intelligent, and devout leaders, emphasizing their struggles to uphold their belief while fighting against patriarchy and dominance of Orientalist thought. I agree with this quote because it aligns with the themes in several of Kaf's poems, which depict resilient women enduring challenges. For example, in the poem Hagar's Ram, Hajar's struggle portrayed without direct intervention from divine power. This highlights Hajar's strength and perseverance to endure on her own. Still in the same chapter, Mrs. Johar mentioned another interesting point. The speaker uses hair instead of the hijab in depicting the most vulnerable woman in Islam to undermine limited views of Muslim women in Orientalism, which tends to represent women stereotypically as covered and oppressed. So Mrs. Johar believes that using the symbol of hair aims to challenge the Orientalist view of Muslim women as oppressed and failed. However, I somewhat disagree with this interpretation. As a Muslim woman, I see the hijab as a sacred symbol that should always be closely associated with Muslim women. There are many other ways to challenge Orientalist ideas without dismissing an essential aspect of Muslim woman's identity. For example, in the poem Hajar's Thorn, the thorn embedded as a woman's body symbolizes how Hajar's struggles are deeply rooted in her as a Muslim woman. So the next quote discusses is Hope and Other Dangerous Pursuits by Laila Lalami. In the part about Halima, Mrs. Johar writes, the narrator describes Halima's hiding place as the closet, which is attached to the water, representing nature, which works to protect women from male violence. So I agree with Mrs. Johar's depiction here. Aside from the water, the quiet atmosphere of a closet can sometimes provide a sense of calm and help alleviate fear. This reflected in Halima's experience during a conflict with her husband. So moving on to another chapter, the chapter 4, which discusses the literary work Saffron Dreams by Sheila Abdullah. One of the quotes I choose states, arguably, Muslims have often emerged as a problematic existence in Orientalist debates, as they tend to exclude Muslims from the idea of freedom and modernity. This is why, as I've claimed earlier, although Edward Said's seminal work Orientalism 1978 is seemingly old, it is still relevant to challenge the misrepresentation of Islam and Muslim in the Western world, especially in America and Britain. So I agree with Mrs. Johar's statement here. As a Muslim, I believe resisting Orientalist thought is a struggle that must be taken up. not only by women but by all Muslims, especially Muslim immigrants living in Europe. For women, this struggle is even more significant because they are often the ones most affected by the ideas of white people. Moreover, Mrs. Johar pointed out that Edward Said's Orientalism has been around since 1978, and for that long, Muslim women have been regarded as backward. This makes the struggle against such notion even more vital. So lastly, in chapter 5, which discusses Alif the Unseen by G. Willow Wilson, Mrs. Johar writes on page 99, Islam demands Muslims to live peacefully not only with other different people but also with different creatures, including non-human, to promote social justice and collectivism. So this quote reference is seen in Alif the Unseen, where Alif as a Muslim feeds a cat that was previously a human named Azalel. I agree with Mrs. Johar interpretation because this single scene beautifully portrays Islam as a peaceful religion, of advocating harmony not only among humans but also with other creatures in the world. Through this, Wilson promotes the idea that Islam is not dangerous and that its followers live peacefully. So those are some of the quotes along with my comment on them from Mrs. Johar book. Overall, this book offers Mrs. Johar personal perspective on various Muslim women's literary works addressing the colonialism, resistance against Orientalism, and patriarchy. For those interested in this topic, this book is definitely worth reading. So that's all I have to share. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.